So we've got a PlayStation 5 Slim to talk about here, as there is more evidence that seems to be coming together to suggest that there is a PS5 Slim coming in 2023. We've also got a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth update and a Final Fantasy XVI update as well. Now, before we jump into this, if you could do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, share the video. It helps the channel a ton and it goes a long way, and I appreciate it very, very much. Now, let's kick it off with this PlayStation 5 Slim. Tom Henderson tweets out, a leak from theleak.com has suggested that a PS5 Slim will release in Q3 2023. I'm certain this is the PlayStation 5 I reported on previously, as their production and release times line up perfectly with the production and sales numbers I have. The numbers I have say that Sony is aiming for 30 million units in fiscal year 2023, confirmed in a recent earnings call. 18.5 million of these fiscal year 2023 consoles will be this new version, with the old console being phased out entirely by fiscal year 2023. It is important to note that Tom seems to think that they basically just took his report and wrote it off as their own. It is something that he stated by saying, but yeah, honestly, just seems like they've repeated the report and changed it up a bit without giving credit. Journalism, baby. So this could very well be that being the case, but again, Tom Henderson's super reputable, clearly proven track record. So it looks like 2023, we could be seeing a Slim PS5, which is not unusual. We've seen that before with the PlayStation 4 generation and the PlayStation 3 generation, where they, a few years later, would introduce a Slim line model. So again, another reiteration of there possibly being a Slim edition coming out in 2023. Plus, we have been hearing about PS5 Pro models being out in developer hands, or sorry, the dev kits being out in developer hands. So that's another thing to consider, and it would make sense if a year after the Slim comes out, that the PS5 Pro comes out. And again, getting people to double dip on maybe getting a PS5 Pro when they already have a PS5. So it's interesting. I do think that there's legitimacy to this for sure. And I think it's going to be exciting to see what happens in 2023, especially if they go the special route with the PS5 Slim with a detachable disk drive. And it'll also be integrated into the console as well. So really excited to see what they do there. Now, next we're talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Gamatsu says, trademarks for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were recently filed in Europe on November 4th and Australia on November 3rd. There's not much else to make of this, but hey, maybe we are going to get a trailer, a proper trailer for this game at maybe the Game Awards, or maybe this is just wishful thinking, and we'll get it sometime in 2023. I think that likely 2023 will be the case, but it would be cool if we did see it at the Game Awards. I do think Final Fantasy XVI is due then, but in terms of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I just don't think we're going to see any more info this year, but it's not impossible. I mean, I think they mentioned talking about it again this year, but I could be wrong on that. Regardless, the game's supposed to be due out in like 2023 or 2024. People are saying most likely it'll be 2024. We'll see what happens, though. You know, these games, they move in development times and things happen internally that we don't know about. So I do think that it'll be a 2024 title. I think best case scenario, we see a trailer at the Game Awards. Worst case, we see something in 2023. Regardless, we got so much happening with Square Enix that it's a very exciting time to be a Final Fantasy fan. And speaking of which, we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy XVI to wrap this up. According to a new marketing video published by Sony on Monday, which features FF16 footage along with the disclaimer, Final Fantasy XVI is anticipated summer 2023, PS5 exclusive for 6 months. So it looks like they've already somewhat confirmed how long the exclusivity is. People are looking at this and saying, yeah, it's probably a PS5 exclusive 6 months, and then it goes to PC. I don't know if it ever will go to Xbox. I mean, FF7 Remake still hasn't gotten to Xbox, but it's not impossible. But as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be a PS5 exclusive for 6 months, and then it'll go to PC, and that's kind of where it stands right now with that. Although I'm kind of surprised, because typically Sony will do like a year of exclusivity. 6 months kind of throws me off a little bit. But I do think it's not, again, impossible for it to be just a 6-month exclusive. Regardless, it is looking like a PS5 exclusive for the foreseeable future. That is all I have for you guys in today's video. I'd love to hear from you. What do you make of this report about the PS5 Slim happening in 2023? How do you feel about this Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trademark? And lastly, what do you think of this exclusivity deal for 6 months for the PS5 that is being shown in a new marketing video? As always, if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe, like, share the video. Helps the channel a ton. And if you want to support the channel a little bit further, you can become a member for $1.99 a month Canadian. And you can follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description. I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care.